Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Adrian is not able to be here tonight, so I'm pitching for her tonight. I do not see any citizens here, so there are no citizens' comments tonight, so we'll jump right into the agenda items. And the first one is to consider the approval of minutes for last month's meeting. Does anybody have any modifications or anything they want to make to the minutes from last month? If not, so what, motion by Jan to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
David seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. The minutes are approved from last month's meeting. Item C2 is the community garden. Really kind of what this is, we've been talking about this for some time now about moving it and what we have to do, but now that the city is going to fund it for the upcoming year, according to Barbara and everybody we've talked to, they love the spot they're in. So there's not a critical need to move it at this time. So really wanted some discussion if it's time to kind of put some closure to this item, or if there's some discussion that anybody wants to have on that, on the community garden.
Yeah, Steve, so here's the deal. This is not an urgent matter, and we want to keep it where it is. But there was a point in time where I talked to a city council member and they thought it was something that was imminent, so they had to identify two locations. And the only thing I'd like to know is I still am confused about this second location. One of the locations I'm very clear on, which is the one that is south of the library, north of the fire station on Webb Chapel. That's very clearly understood, but the one that supposedly is south of Dustin Waterworth Park, I am just confused. So all I'm asking is, can somebody just tell me what? Yes, Mark.
What they were talking about doing is on the west end of the Rose Garden, the furthest west end between the cemetery and part of the Rose Garden, like the first aisle that goes down. They were looking at possibly making that one side there if we had to put it on our own property. And that's one of the issues. The city has kind of got into a new deal where we really don't want to have contracts or deals with private property per se. And they wanted to be able to have it on their own property in case something was to happen with the church, because the church has a school and there's lots of players involved. This year, it's still funded, same as it was last year. Everything's still going smoothly. Nothing came up about it again. But the second location was at the Rose Garden one that's there on Valley View. And it was an area that was between the cemetery and there, but with a columbarium.
Oh, columbarium.
Columbarium, yes. To where it was possibly going in an area over there where the horseshoe pit and everything is, but there's also some area that's in front of the cemetery. And that's pretty much all I can elaborate on that part.
So Mark, thank you very much. And maybe we do this after the meeting. Just, if somebody can just show me, once again, you're saying west side of it, I'd actually like to go see it. Just to see what it's like. And
Okay.
I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just trying,
No.
I'm trying to picture in my mind, because that's different than what she described it to me. She said, so if you can just show me on a map where it is, I'd like to just go, walk around and just check it out. And once again, this is not imminent. I'm happy it's gonna stay where it is. There was a point in time where at least two city council members thought it was something we had to do right away. Thankfully, we don't. But then that city council member said that the city decided these are the two locations. And I'm just trying to understand what that second location is.
There was conversations with having it to move, and they were trying to figure out the best location for it to be. That is city property.
Right.
And that is across the street from the library, the field that's not being used. They had talked about putting condos there before, but centrally located in the city would be kind of across from the library. Then they thought about over at, like I said, the Rose Garden 1, which would be taking up, I would say probably maybe a quarter of it and fencing it off so that everything was fenced in, because there was concerns of people getting in the orchard and just pulling up in a car and taking off the vegetables and fruits off the trees. That's where some of those conversations came into play. As of right now, we're still gonna keep going just the way we are.
But maybe they get together after this meeting. I just wanted.
Yes, I can show you on the map after the meeting if you'd like.
Perfect. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any other comment about the community garden? I think it's something that we all need to keep awareness of, and I think, there's a great a deal of support for the community garden on this board. But as it is right now, and with some of the difficulties Barbara's experienced with the 501c3 and everything that, perhaps kind of say as we are. Yes.
Just so you know, our church, which is the one that has the community garden, has a Sunday that's called Laity Sunday. And we take that Sunday to have a special guest speaker. And this year, we're going to highlight the garden. And our guest speaker is going to be Barbara Levy. And I would like for as much of the board as possible to come to that church service and listen to Barbara talk about whatever she talked about, the history of the garden, what's going on.
It will be great, whatever it
It will
is.
be great.
What is this?
It is October the 26th.
That's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
I can't make it. I'm trying to find that they're both.
At what time? At 10:30. But it would be nice to have the support of the park board, and besides that, we all need to know what's going on in the garden. Anyway,
Maybe you could, whatever the presentation is, maybe you could give it a later board meeting or something. But I'd love to hear about it once again. I'm very active in my church, so I can't be there on a Sunday morning. Sorry.
Is it still a background check to volunteer there? At the garden 26th, Friday.
Yes,
October 26th.
and the school required background check. And the church, I mean, you get your name and your email to the church and they turn it around in 24 hours or less. It's amazing.
Okay. And is the workday still Saturday morning
For
or
Saturday.
Saturday?
I mean, we're there every Saturday. I'm there every Wednesday and Saturday. But unless I'm out of town.
Okay, there's no other discussion on that. Let's move on to item C3. And that's the Aquatic Center third quarter report.
Recreation manager, instead of aquatics manager, recreation manager, I'll be giving the aquatics quarter 3 report for all of you. So just to highlight a few things from this past quarter, we ended quarter 3 just under $295,000 in revenue total. It is a 12% decrease from this time last year. We're attributed to lower day pass revenue and rental revenue. But despite the decrease, we did have an increase in membership revenue and program revenue. So our membership revenue had a 3% increase for this quarter, to date. And we're still seeing plenty of the Branch Connection members still coming through our building despite their building open. So we're loving it on both sides, rec and aquatics. So, our program revenue ended at $84,644 for year to date. It was an 18% increase compared to this time last year. We had 10 participants in our junior lifeguard program in June, and also 12 in our walk program. And then we had 418 in our swim lesson program from April to June, 309 being residents and 109 being non-residents. And then we had 985 participants in our aqua fitness program during those 3 months. And we also had an NPS score of 91, which is very good. Still keeping customer service at the top of our list. That's it. Do you have any questions?
I have a question for you. Thank you very much. So, what does WALK stand for?
Walk, it is, ooh,
It's an
been a
acronym.
long time. Yes, it is. Hold on, pretty sure I can find it in here.
Great refresher.
It is Water Adventure Leader Knowledge Program. That was, so that was developed by our previous manager. And so if you sign up for that, you get a junior lifeguarding course and a WSI junior course as well. So it's 2 camps in 1 program.
Great, thank you. One more question. There's a sentence in here, I just don't understand. I'm sorry, if you help me explain to me. The extension of, it's right down below that, the extension of hours eliminated the after-hour rentals on Saturdays due to operating 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. that were very popular in years past. I'm sorry, I read that over and over again. I just don't know what we're saying there. We're saying.
Got it. So last summer, our hours were 10 to 6.
Okay.
This summer, it was 10 to 7. We listened to our community feedback about having a little bit longer of hours, but then that eliminates the option for an after-hour rental. After-hour rentals were normally 6:30 to 8:30, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And for those that don't know, it's very popular. You have a lot of schools and organizations that want to do end of school parties or back to school parties. So with eliminating that Saturday, you can see in our revenue took a pretty good hit.
So we were at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., then we went to 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And because we extended that extra hour, that was what caused the effect. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Would it make sense then to scale it back to get some of those after hour people back in? What's your revenue?
Right, so that's something, actually, you'll meet Amanda later, but that's something Amanda and I were talking about and that we were gonna bring up to our leadership team. After this quarter report, we wanted to wait till Q4 to kind of get encompassing from the whole summer, because June is only partial of it. So once our Q4 comes out, we'll kind of see the impact, but you can see it in this one already. So, but I think we'll have more justification once this quarter ends.
It'll give us a little bit more direction. once we have the fourth
Correct,
quarter
and
news in.
we'll bring it up to Jessica and Robert to look at and give us a direction for next summer, but you can tell it did have an impact.
And I did, it's just sort of one of my items. It looked like it evened out between non-residents and residents. in
Yes,
Lincoln.
sir.
So our residents are being pushed out, so.
Right, and so with that as well, because you asked specifically about the pavilions, so for this summer, the prior leadership team at the Aquatic Center eliminated renting one of the pavilions. We have 2 pavilions out there. We eliminated one because a lot of the feedback was that we don't have a lot of open free space for anyone to sit. But again, that hit us on revenue in the rental side, so just a lot. It changes for the good, but also there's still an impact, so we'll bring it up to Jessica.
Residents were allowed to reserve the pavilions early though, from what I read. Cause you were saying it impacted residents, but they had a whole month earlier. Did I read that right here?
They had a month earlier to sign up,
reserve.
but they only had a choice of 1 pavilion versus having 2.
Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't in that decision-making process, so I didn't know that, but
It's kind of like, you know how we have registration
for
for
programs,
residents.
got it. Okay.
Okay.
But it didn't make quite the difference, but they only had one to choose from. But I mean, they're the same thing. They're right next to each other. So, but we left one open to have more open seating. That a lot of our things were rentable. And so there wasn't a lot of just open seating for people.
Was that open seating being taken advantage of?
Oh, yes, it was. It's popular because it's big and shaded in the back, so. So a
Rather
more
be
shaded
in the
area in the
pool
park.
under the tree,
Right.
though. That's
Yeah.
the best spot.
Yes. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item C4, the Recreation Division update.
Yeah. Did we not have the?
I was on C3 as
It's still
well.
there, yeah.
Yes, the SFP wrap up. They're both in C3, so yeah, Kate, you're next. Yes.
Oh, we're still in C3?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kate, Recreation Supervisor here. So I'm going to give you guys the wrap up from our Summer Funshine program. So it's our recreational day camp program for children ages 6 to 12. It runs from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., same as it ever was. And then the dates for this past summer were May 23rd to August 11th, excluding both Memorial Day and Independence Day, which fell during the week this past summer. So we were slated to accommodate 275 participants. We had 247 register. And then looking a little further down the breakdown, 118 of them were residents. 90 of them were on our resident financial aid program, which is a 2-tiered program. And then we had 39 non-residents. So our resident registration began March 1st, and then April 1st was the first day for non-resident registrants. And then our fees have been the same for the past few years now. We didn't really shake anything up with that this year either. But for our residents, it was $130 a week. For financial aid, tier 1 was $60 a week and tier 2 was $100 a week. And then our non-resident was $160 a week. So we have 75 tier 1 slots for our financial aid program. All of those were filled pretty quickly after registration opened up. And then after that, we have an unlimited amount of tier 2 slots. So 75 people got that $60 a week, and then the rest up to that 90 got that $100 a week. We had a total of 22 staff members. We had youth program leaders, supervisors, and 1 bus driver. All staff were given 5 Summer Funshine shirts to wear, whistle, name badge, and a city ID to wear to work every day. We did have our orientation at the beginning of summer. It was May 18th, where staff was trained on CPR, first aid, AED, identifying child abuse, sexual harassment, and other human resource related information. And then we did have a midsummer in-service as well on June 29th. That was just kind of a general touching base, going back and hitting topics we covered in that original orientation, just to make sure everybody was kept up to date. So our program attendance, we had an average daily attendance of 145 participants. One of the reasons of that was a lot of our weeks. So on week 1, it actually was only 1 day. And then our last week was also only 1 day. So that kind of brought our average down a little bit, because it's kind of a shocking difference between 247 registered and then our average being 145. But if you look, it kind of slowly built up over the course of the summer and then kind of petered out as everybody started to head back to school and all that fun stuff. So we did go on weekly field trips. So just a few examples. I'm not going to go down the whole list with you guys, but we did swim at the Frog Pond twice a week. We took advantage of most of the local parks in the area that the children could walk to. We had an in-house bounce house, and then we went to places like Super Llama, Interskate, Color Me Mine, Adventure Landing. We had a big trip at the end of the summer to Hawaiian Waters. We provided lunch. The program provided lunch every Friday. And CFBISD has a free breakfast and lunch program at the elementary school across the street that we took advantage of for about 2/3 of the program. It ended on July 18th. So after that, kids were instructed to bring sack lunches on Monday through Thursday, but on Fridays, we still provided that lunch with the program. And then at the end of summer, we had our big traditional carnival. So it was a community-wide event. So all of our program participants were there, and also it was open to the community. It was in our gym. It served as a fundraiser, so there were all kinds of carnival games, things for people to win, and we kind of did state fair rules where they bought tickets and paid for the games with tickets. So we had concessions available as well. That was run by our teen leadership program. So they had cotton candy, street corn, nachos, beverages, all kinds of stuff for everybody to snack on during the event. And then we had over 200 participants and their families come into the event, as well as, like we said, it was open to the public. A portion of the funds generated from concessions at the teen camp trading post throughout the summer and during the carnival resulted in a $4,205.28 raised for the Youth Scholarship Fund. And then at the end of the summer, rounding it out, there were no outstanding fees. Everyone went on back to school. So,
Carnival was fun.
yeah, it was.
Made me feel very good about myself playing those games.
So thank you, Kate. One thing, I'm just so impressed. It makes me proud to be part of Farmers Branch. The fact that we have this ability for some people to pay $60, others $100 a week, and then just the tier pricing. I just think it enables people who otherwise wouldn't be able to participate. It just really makes me proud of the great work you're doing and the fact that we were able to enable that for families that otherwise couldn't afford it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm glad I have the numbers of how many kids it affects now when we ask for donations at Halloween and Christmas. So I'm really excited about that because I didn't have that the last year.
Yeah, and hey, if anyone ever wants numbers, I got them for you. So I'm gonna Excel lazy, so I've got all kinds of stuff.
Thank you,
Cool,
Kate.
thank y'all so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we're gonna move on to C4, right, Jessica?
Yeah.
C4, receive the Recreation Division update.
Yes. Jessica Alvarado, Recreation Superintendent. So I will allow my management team to take the floor to introduce their new employees. We'll start with Jocelyn Avina first.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Jocelyn Avina, Community Events Manager, and today I'm here to present Molly, our new events coordinator.
Hi, everyone. I'm Molly Martinez. I'm the new events coordinator. I'm very excited to be here. I come from municipality experience with the city of Fort Worth and the city of Grapevine. I also have experience with anything from aquatics to teaching to events and weddings and rentals. You name it, I've probably done it. But I'm very excited to be here and it's nice to meet all of you.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Hello again. Hello.
All right, I'll back up here. Ashley Munoz, Recreation Manager. I'm here to introduce y'all to Amanda Bailey, our new Recreation and Aquatics Coordinator. Amanda started 3 weeks ago. We're on week 4 now.
Yes.
Yes, so she's done a great job stepping in. You know, it's been a different summer than we anticipated. But she's bringing new ideas and we're going. Like I said, we're looking at everything and we're like, I think we're gonna change that for the better. And so we're excited for next summer and what's to come this fall.
Yes. So yes, I'm Amanda Bailey. I've been in aquatics now for about 10 years, whether it's teaching lifeguarding classes, swim lessons, managing pools. I'm very passionate about aquatics and water safety, and I'm very excited to be a part of this city.
Welcome aboard.
Alrighty. The next item I have an update on is the venue 1842 Google search. And so I did get with Rachel Johnson on that. And at first she was like, wait, no, it's there. And then she went in there and she's like, I see what they're talking about. And so she reached out to her partners with Google. It seems like because it's a government entity, we're gonna need to do some paid advertisement, some things to kind of get the search bar going. And then she said, we should be able to, because it's got the same address as well as the historical part, give or take. So, but she said it is doable. We will get there. She just has to work a little bit more on the back end. So I'm like, okay, well, that's promising. So that is the update on that. I also wanted to give an update. The national, you guys had wanted some information about the pickleball tournament. And so on September 25th at 6:30 p.m. at Brookhaven Country Club, there will be a pickleball informational open house. And so if that is something that you guys are interested in attending as a resident, you're more than welcome to do so. The 2025 Pickleball World Championships, they will be coming back to Farmers Branch and hosted at Brookhaven Country Club from October 31st through November 9th. I also wanted to let you guys know that we will have a group of your full-time and part-time Parks and Recreation employees there representing the city at the information booth. And so the information booth is actually being designed and set up and put on by the tourism department. But they have asked us, we will have different time slots where our staff will go in and just talk about Farmers Branch, hand information out on behalf of Farmers Branch during the length of the actual tournament. So it'll be a City of Farmers Branch information booth, but your fine Farmers Branch Parks and Recreation team will be the ones working that booth. And myself and Berta Rincon, our event specialist, will be there every day during the tournament to check in with the team to make sure they're good if there's anything that they need. So if you're out there, feel free to stop by. That is y'all's Parks and Recreation team representing us.
What was the date of the thing at Brookhaven again when they?
The date is September 25th, so that's next Thursday. And that's actually a really busy day. There's something else going on.
What time?
6:30 p.m.
And it's at Brookhaven?
It is. It's at the main dining room, 3333 Golfing Green Drive on September 25th at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you.
The next thing I wanted to talk about was our CFBISD partnerships is going well. Jocelyn and her team, Ashley and her team have been reaching out to the independent school district. Jocelyn's team did a lot of back to school events and gearing up for Halloween's, the school district's Halloween like trunk or treats that they have at their different schools. I believe Janie Stark doesn't have anything for Halloween. They save all of theirs for their big spring like carnival. And then we have invited everyone out to Halloween in the park. However, that is the same night that CFB ISD is hosting their really big school district, like not fall event, it's like a basketball event. There's a basketball
It's like a wizard basketball tournament.
Wizards. I don't know if anyone knows about basketball. But they're gonna have a big basketball tournament. So we are trying to work with booster clubs that aren't participating in that can still come out and benefit from our Halloween in the park. We have Parks and Recreation Department will also be having a table and staff manning a bounce house at the fire station admins open house event, which is next Saturday, September 27th. And so you will see Ashley's youth program staff out there for that event. And then you'll have Jocelyn's event staff at MetroCrest services that same morning at their event. So there's lots of community events. And so Parks and Recreation Department is representing at both of those locations. And from my understanding, there's also a city table at the MetroCrest table as well. I don't know the event details on that one. So you will see them at the fire open house.
Which station?
The admin building.
Fire station 3.
Okay.
Over off Hutton.
Okay.
Yes, and so we'll have our youth program bounce house there with youth program staff manning the bounce house, and then there will also be a table. The library director will be there with their marketing information, as well as all of our different departments with divisions, marketing information there as well. Next thing I had was Miss Heart of Texas. She reached out to us, so she's a Farmers Branch resident. I put her little thing here. So her name is Caroline Cave. She won the title of Miss Heart of Texas and the Miss America system last Saturday, so 2 Saturdays ago. We have offered her, there's lots of opportunities for her to come and introduce herself as the title holder. She is a Farmers Branch resident, and she also teaches kindergarten at Farmers Branch Elementary. She's looking forward to engaging with her community for the remainder of this year at all of our events. And then we hope to invite her back next year. I think she can apply like 2 years, and then she's gonna take a rest. We're also looking at possibly partnering with her to bring programs here to the rec center to train future pageant leaders, princesses. So I have a meeting set up with her. Well, I'm gonna be setting up a meeting with her in the incoming weeks so we can get that on the calendar to hopefully bring an opportunity to the rec center. I wanted to show you guys the location of our new city website. So Tara's gonna pop that open. So here's our new city website. They are still ironing out details of it. So, for the most part, a lot of our stuff is there. So all of our events, I've been talking about the different community events, whether it's through our department, whether it's through the firehouse, the fire department, whether it's through the animal adoption service. So they've got one place that all the events are at. So I'll go back to where it was. On the parks and recreation. Yes, it should be fun. And then if you go down here, community events, right? Yes. And then when you click on that, then you should be able to see all the different events. So you see like public safety events and workshops, parks and recs, trash and recycling, recreation center, historical park, library events. So it's kind of a one-stop shop. So you can see what is going on in Farmers Branch event-wise. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, there's like an event calendar. Yes, so there's this event calendar, and if you click on view all events, the actual calendar. So it shows you like tomorrow night, they have kids night out here at the recreation center. So if you hover over it, and then it'll give you additional details. So that's an exciting new feature that many of our different boards have been requesting. And so we're so glad. This has taken a really long time to put together. And so thank you to our communications department for doing all of this for us.
kids night out was last week,
Oh,
But-
just kidding.
but.
Oh,
we
it's
had
12.
Yeah, so we had 33 kids participate, so it was our most popular one this year, yes.
Next one is comedy and cocktails.
That's this Saturday at the Branch Connection. The comedy and cocktails. Yes, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Comedy and cocktails. So it was previously game night, and so what the board kind of did differently there, and it's been a huge success. Jackie and I were just talking about it today. The board and staff were like, let's try something different, because you have a lot of people that don't necessarily gamble but want to gather with their community. And so they broke it up into 3 different series, and every single one they've blown out the park. Like it exceeded expectations. And so Jackie he just couldn't talk enough about this next Saturday. He's like, it's gonna put the icing on the cake. And so we've had a lot of good support from the board on that, because it without them, our staff couldn't do it alone, right? And vice versa. And so their members all are coming out, and they're all enjoying it. And it's been a really great hit, their series.
So that's the 27th.
That's tomorrow, the 20th. Okay, tomorrow.
Yes, that's tomorrow, that's Saturday.
And it's sold out.
Don't lose it, right? It's Saturday, and it's sold out.
Tickets are sold out.
Well, you can come see the comedian. We'll, after dinner, we're having a comedian mix nuts. And we're gonna put chairs for people who wanna just come and enjoy the comedy.
Okay, so there is a comedian. I guess that was gonna be
Yes,
my question.
yes.
It says comedy, it's like,
Tim Kurtz.
Yeah, for church, the branch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but tickets are sold.
Mhm.
Well, dinner tickets are sold out.
Yes, dinner tickets are sold out. And so then the next thing I wanted to highlight was the different volunteer opportunities. And so in your packets, there are 2025 volunteer opportunities for you guys to just look through. You don't have to give this to us today. You can email it to me at a later time. I just ask that you get it to me as soon as possible, especially because Halloween in the Park is on here. That way we can know what you guys are interested in volunteering for. I wanted this, since the Parks and Recreation Board is really, the mother of all of our department and represents all of our events. I wanted to give you guys the opportunity first to, let me know what and if you guys want to volunteer at these different events. And then after I receive y'all's feedback, I'm going to then open it up to our other 4 boards and our events review subcommittee. I know you guys like to do like the Christmas tree and so I just wanted you guys to have the opportunity to sign up for the different jobs that we have at our events. And then, like I mentioned, we'll send an email out to our other boards, giving them the opportunity to sign up to work the hospitality tent. I say hospitality tent, it's more of like a marketing department tent. And so what we're kind of thinking is, of course, there'll be a branded tent, we'll have a table cover, we'll set all that stuff up for you guys, but we'll have a different board member, basically every hour during our different events there. And we'll have the different business cards set up. The team put these things together for all of our different divisions and facilities. In case there's any questions that you can't answer, or if you would like for them to talk to one of our facility managers, we'll have all manager business cards here. We will also have different event FAQ sheets. So if they're asking you about, like, if it's Christmas time and they're like, are y'all having that, multicultural event? And you're like, oh yes, like here's some information. We'll have different QR codes for the facilities if they're asking about different programs that that they offer. Like here's the Recreation Center one, an events one, the Branch Connection one. So just different opportunities for people to come and find out, one, what Farmers Branch has to offer, but most importantly, what Parks and Recreation has to offer. And so we'll have it all set up. So it's nothing that you guys can't do. We just want to have a little bit more involvement from all the boards and just wanted to give y'all that first kind of opportunity.
Thank you for that. So I've already sent my email to Jocelyn, so do I need to fill out this form?
Yep.
No,
No, you're good.
Good.
and I got Debbie's.
One less form to fill out.
Yes.
and Jessica, when would be I'm most concerned about Halloween in the park. Is there like a deadline that we need to let you know whether we're gonna be able to
Yeah. If you
volunteer or not?
If you could let us know by like mid to late next week, that would be great. And then what we'll do is we'll just draft an email and we'll wait to send that out to the other boards until like the 26th, so till next Friday.
Yeah, by the end of next week, let everybody know.
Yeah. And if you guys wanted to have like your spouse or a family member or friend that wanted to also volunteer as well, we can get that process started. We would just need to know sooner rather than later. So we would probably need to know by the end of next week as well, because we have to put them through a background check process. You guys as board members have already went through that process, so it's a lot easier for us to plug and play. But with the volunteers, we want to make sure that they're cleared and they're good to go from a risk management standpoint. Okay.
Thank you.
And that is all that I have.
Any questions or anything for Jessica on that? Anybody?
I have just one real quickly, because I volunteered to do, like refreshments and so forth. Is a food handler's license required for that?
It is not.
Well, let's move on to C5 then, Parks and Rec Department, project update. That you, Mark?
Tara.
Oh.
So, just
Oh,
to
Tara.
provide you a couple updates quickly about our three main projects that we have going on right now. So Squire Park, for the revitalization of the neighborhood park, that was presented to city council, on September 16th. In a study session about what would be the direction that we want to, move forward with this park. That kind of was like at an impasse, so we're, didn't have directions to go this way or that way, but just, we're probably moving forward just in October to, come back and get more direction as well for about this Squire Park, the development of this park.
So can you elaborate on that a little bit more? So, because you guys have done a lot of work on it. You guys did all the community engagement and soliciting input from the community. So can you just, when you say you're at a kind of.
Well, there was, not direction that was specifically outlined for us, but it was to, you can infer that it is that we probably need to do just a little bit more research on certain, items that will be part of the amenities of the park. And just probably bring back some more information to the city council about those items to help them understand the whole function of the park. Because at this presentation, we provided an outline of the cost of the amenities for the park. And so it gave them something to kind of think about and digest about how they want to make this whole, park become an experience for the neighborhood.
Sure. I heard two different things, was that, not from you, but that, the cost of the revitalization of this park would be $2 million, and then I heard from another council person from 500,000. So is that, are they still including, a water park or a water feature?
You want me to answer this? Okay. Part of the issue that they're having is that it's possible that there is funds there to fund it more. There was only $1 million that was given for this park. The question that lies, we did everything that we were supposed to do. We've gotten all the surveys back. And it's kind of where we're at. They need to pick which one they are. So in October, when we go back, we're gonna go back with them to have approval to send it out to the engineer to start having the park designed. Well, we kind of need to know if we got $1 million or we got 1.5 or we have 2. So we hit it at the mark of what we need. And that's where that kind of falls into that bullet.
Because, it was my understanding from talking to some of the councils that, if we put in a water feature, that we have to put in a parking lot because there's no parking in the residential area.
It's yes and no. We're not looking at building a big, huge waiting splash pad or nothing like that. It would be a smaller type splash pad. Just to be honest, it'd be almost something like what's out at the dog park, depending on what they want to fund.
And it sounds like the consensus of the council is that they still don't know what they want to do. They have asked us, they're not looking to make a decision right now. They're just looking for discussion and for conversation. And so each time we have that discussion, they just have a little bit more information they would like for us to gather. So we just have to gather a little bit more information. We'll then take that to them to see if they feel good to continue their discussion, if they feel good to make a direction for us to take. But as of right now, we don't have a consensus on a direction for the Squire Park.
And we only have a certain amount of real estate, so everything that's on that list, you can't put it in the park. If you want a big wide trail, then you're taking up real estate. If you put a smaller in, then you have a little bit more real estate. But you can't put all of it in that one little park. There's just not enough room. So
I know.
it's pick what the residents voted on or what they did the survey on, and then we go from there. But there was some of them that were very close on as the same percentage. So that's where we have to decide what's gonna work better. You know, a splash pad, you get to use it from a certain part of the time of the year, and then you have to get it ready for the winter. So it doesn't get used for 3-4 months.
Well, because my question was, why don't you put it into an area where we already have the infrastructure for the water and for parking? I mean, basic just very basic, question.
Whether we put the splash pad there or not, some of the concerns were they still wanted to have some the residents still wanted to have parking. We have to understand that was an older community. Most of those houses had single driveways, single garage. So they don't really have as much parking as, say, some of this neighborhood over here where you've got double driveways. You can park 4 in your drive. Most people can park in a normal sized car, 4 cars in your driveway. You got 2 over here, but you have a 3-bedroom house. That's one of the issues that's.
I understand that, and you don't want to hear this, but, then that we're talking about taking down more trees and.
That's the areas where the playground, where the parking lot we're looking at to put in, there's no trees there at that point. But to your point of taking down trees, depending on how they design this, if they want it, we're gonna have to try to do it around the trees. And that goes back to that. The trees take up real estate for the amount of amenities that they want in the park. So we have to do it wisely to see what happens. But
So forgive me, I'm not exactly sure what the next step is. The next step is something, what's gonna happen in October? We're gonna have a conversation with the city council
we're going back to the city council again
to do what?
to try to get the approval to go ahead and move on to the design stage.
To get some consensus on what they want. Because right now,
The
we're,
design stage will be over the amount that the city manager can approve, so it will need to go to council for council to approve for us to be able to move forward with that process.
And you're taking some additional
Yes,
information
ma'am.
back to them.
Yes, that is correct.
This way.
Yes, Mark?
Back to the parking issue
Yes.
and back to the infrastructure of the individual homes there that they can only park a car to
That is
the
correct.
driveway. Will that parking lot then become overnight parking for
That,
the neighborhood? And
that is where ordinances need to be passed. If the ordinance is not already there, we run into that at some of our other parks. We run into it with our buildings. And it's where the city as a whole, whether it's community service or whoever, we have to come together and have to post signs that no overnight parking, only during park hours. So if the park's open from 6 AM to 10 PM, if you're parked in there, then your car could be towed and it could be ticketed. But that's down the line and we can't, and that was brought up Tuesday night at the council. That was some of their concerns about putting in a park.
This, being a city in a park, my whole premise of what I thought it would be people who live in neighborhoods who could walk to a park, not drive, from Fort Worth or, from all over the community to come to our city and
And,
partake in our,
and that's normally what a community, I'm gonna say not a community park. Let's call it a neighborhood.
well, that's what it should be.
So a neighborhood park is supposed to be for that neighborhood. Unfortunately, playgrounds today, and it doesn't matter the size or what you do to these playgrounds now, it's hot commodity for parents. It's a place that they want to circulate around and they go to all these different cities to visit all these different playgrounds because there's different amenities that is there. Hoya, that's a national park. it's, you know what I'm saying? It's just off the walls and everybody's coming, okay?
If you put a splash pad in Squire Park,
And
it
that's-
comes to destination.
Yes,
And if
that's
it's a
the concern.
destination, then that's not a neighborhood park, and even, I don't know. I think it's great to have a splash pad, but not at that location.
Well, I think we already have a whole frog pond that is closed for most of the year. And that creates another amenity that is gone, and that park's so small that putting something else in that's not a splash pad, that's more of my issue. It's another amenity that's gone for that neighborhood for most of the year.
Well, and other neighborhoods have asked, oh, are we gonna start putting splash pads in all the neighborhood
Yeah,
parks?
I've heard that too.
So, you know, it is something to consider. If you start with one.
They got one, why can't I get it?
I think it would be important, or when the design comes out, that kind of will help to dictate what can go in there. So I think that's an important piece of this, that we're not there yet, but that would be an important part that we have to
Will that be
understand.
approved here at the board before it goes to city council, or is it just gonna go to city council and? we'll find out?
No, it will, in the design phase, yes, it will come here for your review and probably your feedback as well. Before it goes to final approval of
Okay.
conceptual plan.
Thank you.
What about Dutch Village?
Yeah, Dutch Village is coming along. We're waiting on the equipment to arrive. So hopefully it will arrive within this month. And they'll start going and getting that playground installed with the pit and everything, and then it will be restored back to, a play area that it was beforehand.
Do you have an estimate on when it'll be completed?
Yes, I could probably look that up for you.
All right, got,
That,
One
I'm
break.
gonna look at the.
Huh?
I'll look at the project,
okay,
website just real quick for you, and then I'll tell you the date.
Okay.
And then I'll just go real quick over Mercer. Mercer, was approved on, September 2nd for the design phase. So right now, we're moving forward in the design phase, so there you should see, get a little bit of rumbling going out there. Then I'm gonna go to the project. Map. Hopefully this one will work again. Oh, I just put it up there anyways, because I knew. That one. For some reason, it's weird when I try to click on it here. So it probably should be, I'm just saying to give you a time frame, probably in January 2026, depending on,
first of the year.
yeah, depending on how smooth it goes, like with the weather and everything, and if arriving in September. It could be earlier than that, but
That's Dutch Village you're talking about now?
yes,
January 2026?
yes. And Mark, if you have any other insight you want to add to that?
I would say once the equipment hits the ground, it'd probably be right at 2 months with everything that needs to take place. It shouldn't take as long as Hoya did because it was a lot of new types of material. This should go very smoothly.
Okay. Anything else, Tara?
Famous last words.
And there are there is, the project dashboard there that you have there with the different projects up there. You have, Brook Parkway medians and, Squire Park and Dutch Village is what we have on there right now. So if you all need updates in between meeting times, you can check that out and see what's going on within
What kind
the
of
parks.
feedback are you getting on Hope Brook?
I have
You wanna-
been the person that has,
You want to answer that, Mark? or you
That's
wanna-
another spot.
I'm going home. I'll have a good evening.
Somewhere else in the meeting, right?
Mark's out.
I'll be honest with you, I've received multiple calls in the last 2.5 weeks and I've been beat up, chewed up, spit out. No, not seriously. It's been, received a lot of calls, a lot of complaints. Once we've explained everything to them, they were very understanding. A lot of folks were more worried about, were misinformed that it was gonna happen in front of their house or in their part of their neighborhood, meaning directly impacting them in front of them. Versus where this was directly with the HOA in the city. And some of those neighbors also, you know, They were informed, but not informed, but informed, correct?
Well, I'm on the board, the HOA board there. So I haven't taken the meeting the city has. Because what they did is they came in and they cut all the trees down on the medians. And homeowners knew that some trees were gonna go. I'm not sure we knew all the trees were gonna go until it was too late. So that's where the frustration from the city. But it's a deal where there are no streetlights on about 3 medians. They're from Webb Chapel East. And it's very dark. And those of us that have kind of been pushing this project forward, we want streetlights like everybody else does. And it came to the decision that for Encore to run the electrical lines, the trees would have to come out. And to run the water lines, the trees would have to come out. And it looks fair.
So Roger, I live in District 5. So
Yeah.
Roger did a nice job, I thought, of the email that he sent. I don't know if you've seen this, so I've got a
Yeah.
copy of the printed out.
He was at our meeting the other night, so.
Yeah, it's a 2-page document. He talks about what all happened, so.
Yeah.
And then actually, if you Google it too, so for example, you put in your address, it shows the Oak Brook, and it shows the points that the trees were on the sides as opposed to in the center of the
Yeah.
median.
And-
So,
There was due to the fact of the last 5 years of the cold, the hot, the way that these things were burned up, the shallowness of a lot of these trees, the roots have pretty much girdled on the curbs to where they were growing over. There was no way for us to get and bring this up to what we needed to do. And the pines that were out there and things like that, they were just burning up. We're losing cedars everywhere, and it's unfortunate. I hated to see a lot of the trees go, but we can't get in to do the work. And that's kind of what we discussed last meeting when we were here. And I mean, I went and took a bunch of pictures out there the other day just to make sure what was going on, and there's no way to do the work that we need to do. So.
And that brings me also to Rawhide Park. Like, to put in those 12-foot wide sidewalks, I know that you had to take out a lot of trees. And then are you gonna be doing that on the golf and green side as well, taking out all those trees?
Well,
Cause it's
the
really bad.
trees that were taken out on the first round, on the first 2 panels, those trees are supposed to be, we just got the trees in. We should be planting them here this fall, help out a lot. On the second run, that's from Josie to Webb Chapel, there was 2 trees that were together that were already, one was a ginkgo. And it was rotted from the internal side. We got a call from a lady. We were gonna try to save it, but the tree was totally rotted all the way down the center. There was another one that was right there by it. And out of that project, I think we only took out 2 trees for it, but there will be trees replanted.
And will this be done on the golf and green side as well?
Yes, it will. They're starting, once they're done with where they're at right now on Rawhide side, from Josie to Tom Field, they're gonna come over here to Tom Field, on Golf and Green, Tom Field to Josie. That's this year's project. Once that project's done, the next year, if the funding's there, they're gonna go ahead and go from Golf and Green side, meaning from Josie Lane to Longmead, and then they'll go from Longmead all the way to Webb Chapel. They've got to fix a lot of the areas that are just, this sidewalk's over 20-something years old, and it has shifted, it's pulling apart. There's stuff that's been undermined. It's just part of Texas soil or Dallas soil and the concrete here. They don't like one another.
Can you make it kind of wavy and go around?
We're trying to do some of that. One of the issues that we've had with a lot of this is previous trails that went in was put way too close to the creek. Due to the outfall of the water of stuff that's being built up north of us, more water's coming down that creek, more silt's coming down that creek, more buildup in the creek, which pushes the water out of the creek. So most of these trails that are here now are going away from that creek. And that's the goal, because it's the man hours it takes where they're down by the creek, especially behind the library and places like that, silt building up and it just stays full of water, stays full of mud. That's man hours that we don't have to continue to clean those areas. So they're trying to get them up out of the areas, keep you at a nice place, it's safety with people not slipping and falling. That's why they're doing it, and they want to get you a wider trail, a tie-in with the trail system, so more people are able to use it. And when you drive by now, I mean, there's people all over that thing, bicycles, walking. It's being well used, and that trail is all supposed to tie in with the ARC Trail going under the freeway, over by the Dark Center, or Star Center, going to the highway, all the way under the highway, all the way on out to John Burke Nature Area through Mercer and all that.
Okay.
Well, I think it'd be easier on the residents, to know, which trees are gonna be taken down. I mean, like a ribbon around them or something, or some kind of communication to the taxpayers to know how and why our trees are being removed. And there are tree farms that can come in with their big diggers and take up an entire, we have great trees that y'all are taking down and to do projects that you need to do. But, if they could do that, they could sell them and make a lot of money. You could probably sell to them, but instead of just tearing them down, I don't know what we're doing with it.
Most of the ones that we've been trying to take out are the trees that have issues where there's storm damage or whatever, and that's how we've been trying to route that through the trail. And that's one of the issues that we've had.
But it'd be nice to know which trees those are. That'd be just great.
Well,
And I will say the trees on Oak Brook, those roots, it took nothing to get the stumps and everything out. There's just the roots.
The tree farms can buy those, because then they can resell.
a lot of your tree farms that we used to use, Joe Pond John, that was here in town. And they would buy some of our trees from us out on where our shop is off Sinlac and things like that, because it was overplanted. Tree veneer, trying to use a tree veneer to try to pull the tree out and all that, they're just too big of trees. And the root ball to actually do what you need to do, the size of the root ball, using a tree spade, tree veneer, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't get a big enough root, contain enough of the roots. And when you're talking a small tree, yes, you can. I understand that, but I can tell you that most people that are really into replanting them, they come out, it's manually dug, it's manually burlapped, it's manually caged, and they strap it to where it goes with a crane. The big tree veneer, a lot of them, they have more success hand digging that tree than chopping it off like that. And I don't know why, but the veneers, we even had them here at the city at one time. We used to move them around and use the machine. We had better luck manually doing it.
Yeah, 'cause I was talking to the tree farm up off of 121 up in Frisco. They say, we'd like to go out and buy trees,
Mhm.
and they're huge. The ones that they sell are huge. They're like our mature ones, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And I see a disappearance of a lot of our tree infrastructure.
So can we go back to Mercer Park? I got a question for you, Mercer Park. You said it was approved on September the 2nd. What exactly do we have it we've been talking about Mercer Park for quite some time now. When do we think it would actually be completed? Do we have an estimated time for that?
Well, it's gonna be designed.
Yeah.
It's approved just to have a designer come.
To have a designer, okay, but we've been talking about Mercer for quite some time now, so,
At least 2 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Probably
starting,
4.
yeah, actually, the whole time I've been on the board, we've been talking about, so I'm not trying to be difficult, I'm just trying to get understanding, so what the next step is, do we have a vision of when it would actually be completed? Mercer.
It's a phased approach.
It's kind of a phased approach. There has been a lot of hiccups due to the fact we didn't own the property. We couldn't do work. Then we finally got the property. Then there were some things put on hold because of a few things. The city itself has gone out, put irrigation in, put trees, put grass. But the actual development side of it, as far as putting the pickleball courts, tennis ball court, basketball court, and things like that, that's what's going to the designer to be engineered, to be spec'd to what it needs to be. There's a playground, so there's phases that have been taking place to get to where we need to be. There's also the dollar amount, because we can't do it all at once because we only have that certain amount. Well, that's where we have to decide in the council and where we're gonna be with this dollar amount. Because having the parks designed, going out to engineer firm and everything else to design these things, you're looking anywhere pretty much from about $75,000 to $150,000 just to give you a ballpark figure to have a park design. That's structural engineer plans for concrete slabs. It's everything. So that's where we are, and that we're moving forward with who our designer is that will move forward with it. Then it'll come back to us. We approve that. Council approves it, and then we move on.
So we're gonna be talking about Mercer
Yep,
next year.
probably next year. Yeah. No, actually, if everything rolls the way it needs to be, hopefully by spring. And I hope it's sooner, but hopefully by spring, we're moving a little closer to where we're actually gonna start getting everything where we need to be.
But you had a trail, the irrigation and the trees in.
The contractor did the trail, they put in some retaining walls, they put up a wrought iron fence on it so nobody falls off the retaining wall. We put in the irrigation, the grass, trees, our guys are out there mowing it. They're out there watering it, they're, cleaning the sidewalk off when it needs to be, but the northern part of it, we've got a company that's coming out to put up silt fence to keep the flood damage and debris and from getting into storm culverts, so, due to the fact that we're going into winter and the rain and everything else, it needs to be protected, so. That's where we're at. I'm ready for it to be over, you know.
Phase one is done and being made.
Phase one, phase
two is
one.
What's going to design.
Yes, phase two is what's going to design, and there'll be a phase three, unless there will be a phase three. Unless they stop us moving at some point and say, hey, we want to go ahead and do phase three as well. Well, then we'll have to add a little more to the PO for that contract or the engineer to go ahead and design that phase three part.
Can you consider having the designer do a alt bid?
Do the whole
Have a
thing?
Contractor, yeah.
I'm sorry, say that
You
again?
could have them do an alt bid,
Yes.
where they design the whole thing and then let the contractor bid it.
We had that, well, it's gonna be, we're still gonna have to go out for bid and all that. They're just designing. So,
Right.
but
they
there's
can-
also the design builds that we're starting to look into where you go out to the park designer, you send it to the park designer and they design it and build it and you're done all in one shot. Bop, bop, bop. It all has to do with money and how you can break it down and try to get the most for your bank. So,
I did want to go back. Oh, did you guys go ahead?
Okay, I know we're hopping around from one thing to another, but back to Oakbrook. The section between Gatwick and the park, are those trees all staying?
yes,
Okay, that's a question people keep asking me.
yes.
I'm
Well,
assuming that's true, but I don't.
That's sort of kind of true.
As,
There's one tree
oh, yes.
down.
Yeah, I know that,
That was there by itself,
Yeah.
that went down.
but you know, that's the mimosas and whatever,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah.
okay.
I did miss one thing under the recreation update. We just got confirmation that the Margaret Young Natatorium will be closed for HVAC upgrades on October 14th. And then our big replastering that we talked about, we have final confirmation that will begin December 8th, 2025. So we will be closed on December 8th. And we plan on reopening January 19th, 2026. We are going to have a campaign push out where we are notifying members before the closure, during the closure, and after the closure. This will be a large communication campaign push. Ashley and I have already worked on that. We're making sure that we are looking at it from all different eyes, whether it's digital, whether you're email or Facebook user, or if you're just a member who only comes in and scans and you need that visual there too. So Ashley and her team will continue that communication approach, but we wanted to let you all know first. And so as soon as this meeting wraps up, Ashley will then communicate that to our instructors who during those days of closure will have opportunities to teach classes here. So that way members, it may not be in the water here, but you'll still be able to have some type of physical activities with those instructors that you work closely with at the aquatic center. And by say you, I mean whoever's watching and if any of you guys participate in those water aerobics. For both the October 14th closure and then the December 8th through the 19th closures. Yeah.
Okay, and what are we telling residents that the importance and how it's gonna help them long term?
Yeah, so the HVAC isn't, we're labeling that as an upgrade. And then the replastering, so it's normally replastering normally happens about every 8 to 10 years. And we've gone through 10 seasons, so we've actually exceeded the lifetime of that. And again, it's another upgrade, right? But it's also a facility maintenance need.
You have to do it, yeah.
Yeah, has to be done, yes.
On the HVAC, I know the 14th of October is a Sunday, but I'm also assuming there will have to be power turned off for part of that. Well, the question I'm gonna hear from some people is, how cold is the water gonna be Monday morning if they
Right.
come back to swim?
So October the 14th on a Tuesday.
Oh, is it?
Yes, ma'am. But so we're going full closure. We're not gonna hold programs that, or be open for open swim that day. We have to completely turn off the HVAC and it's going to make that pool very hot in there and you'll start to feel the chlorine in your eyes and it gets very hot. The windows will frost over. It's not comfortable.
No, I meant for the day after, would it be back to normal? That's what they're gonna ask me.
The HVAC's gonna be off, not the
Is the
electricity.
water
in the pool
going to be
heating.
Okay,
cold?
you won't have to,
No, the
okay.
pool heating's not getting turned off, just the
Okay.
HVAC.
It's-
Yes, ma'am.
All
It's
right.
a
Would be a-
system called a Soresco system. It has to do with the HVAC along with pulling the air the bad air out of the building.
Right.
And
Right.
that it's,
They
That
only
was-
care about the temperature of the water. So if you're not having to
I got
put
you.
power that heats the pool, you're good.
pool water should still be the same temperature.
Okay.
Forgive me, the date is, you're gonna close on the December the 8th of 2025, and then you're gonna open up on January 1st, January 19th of 2026.
How are y'all handling membership since that's over a month?
Yeah, they'll be able to utilize the recreation center.
If they already have that?
If they already have, wait, go ahead, Ashley.
Right, so for those that just have the aquatics memberships, we'll just activate their membership to be able to scan in here, and that's an easy click of a button, on the back end for us. For those that have, it'll only affect a very small handful of people, for those that have the classic membership that utilizes all 3 facilities. I'm sure we can get our brains together and do some math, and figure it out to be able to partially refund some people for that. But we have not too many people that utilize that classic all access.
Well, I'm
membership.
talking about someone who pays the full for here and the full for there, not the classic memberships.
I don't know, but I can get back. Let me brainstorm on for that. I'm sure there's something we would do, absolutely.
And the
I
classes,
plan it-
classes are still on punch card, aren't they?
I'm sorry?
The classes are on punch card?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So we have the opportunity they have punch cards or we have by the month. A lot of our members utilize the punch card though. That's again, easily switchable to our facility to activate that in, but, I can get back to you, Jennifer, on what we'll do for those members that utilize both. for
Most of
sure.
the people I know have both and
Both.
pay full for both.
Yeah, absolutely. No. I'll put out my to-do. I planned my Amanda and I next week, now that we have some solid dates, to go through and pull action plan to present to Jessica. So it's pulling reports on how many of each membership we have and what we'll need to do. Luckily, we have a few months to play with some stuff, so we'll figure it out.
We just got this information.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
want someone to see it cancel and like, for me personally, it took me forever to finally sign up. So if I did cancel it because y'all were out,
Right.
signing back up might be another year.
Right, and for those that have both, I mean, off the top of my head, we can pause a membership and re-up it once we reopen. That's also easily doable for our team. So we'll figure out a solution.
We had to do the same thing during COVID, if you guys remember.
It was
Yeah.
here.
Okay, let's move on to C6. Updates from any board members who were involved in any activities for the month they want to report.
I'd like to recognize that the Parks and Recreation Department recognized you, Margaret, for your years of service, and thank you for all that you do. I thought that was a real nice touch.
So, August 26th for the town hall, I thought was fantastic, and I know everyone was there supporting it, and just really, just I was also very, very thankful that for the budgeting, it wasn't like the year before where we were trying to stop some
Yeah.
possible cutbacks, and so we didn't have to deal with that issue, but I just thought it was a really, really good discussion, really good exchange of ideas, and just really, I told everybody there, I was just so thankful they did that, so that was really, really well done. It was nice to be able to do it back at the, you know, at the senior center, or, I'm sorry, the branch connection to
It's a senior center for a lot of us.
sorry.
Yeah.
We had the event subcommittee meeting.
And so-
So it sounds like the multicultural event subcommittee will rejoin us about, what was it, November we're talking about? And then we were just talking about Halloween in the park, hoping that a bunch of us will volunteer if possible. I think I'm gonna take the late night shift, so the earlier one will be available at our tent. And then we've got Christmas that's starting to be planned. And they're trying to work with the schools on that one too.
And thanks for serving on that committee, so it's two committees you're on, so thank you.
Yeah, he was right there with me.
Yeah. I walked back. Yep.
So I'd like to give a heads up just to hopefully everybody can participate on November 11th on Veterans Day. Because after the last one we did, I reached out to Cassandra Garcia Hernandez and I asked her, I said, can you help us find a good speaker? We've always had good speakers. Alan West did a great job last time, but I said, can you help us find a speaker? She found a General Joe Allen is going to be presenting. So hopefully everybody here on the board will be able to participate. November 11th, General Joe Allen will be the featured speaker.
That'll be hard for me on a Tuesday. It's normally during the day.
Sorry. So retired people can,
Well,
hopefully all the retired people.
Veterans Day is on it. But,
Yeah, it's always on the 11th, yeah.
yeah. Anybody else have anything that, they want to report? They did? Okay.
I honestly can't remember this month to last month, so I can't remember what I did. I'm afraid I'll repeat.
Do we have any agenda items that we want to put on, the next meeting, for next month? Anybody have anything? Nope, none heard. Okay. Well, then, we will, go ahead. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting? David made the motion. Anybody second? Jennifer seconded. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye.
All right,
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
thank you.